As someone who's been traveling internationally for over 20 years and a former full-time traveler, I have learned a lot from my time on the road. Travel is a great teacher. So in this video, I want to share 5 brutally honest truths travel has taught me. Things that I wish I could go back and tell my younger, more naive self. Travel has become just another thing to consume. There's this very mainstream idea out there that seeing the world makes you wiser and kinder, that traveling the world will make you a better person. Mark Twain called travel fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and I believe that. It's a value, frankly, that I want to pass on to my children. But despite what Instagram, the travel industry, and heck, even channels like mine would have you believe, this has become harder than ever. Why? In this day and age, we can go more places more easily than any humans in the history of our species. And with social media, travel's become another box to check, another thing to share with people back home so they can validate our lives, another experience to push through ourselves. I've kept journals of most of my trips throughout the years, and here's what I wrote when I visited the Louvre in 2015, when even then, the line of selfie sticks at the Mona Lisa was like 10 rows deep. Taking a selfie with someone else's art just to prove you'd been there seems really narcissistic, and I think it just snowballs from here. It did. And honestly, I wonder what past me would think about what I do for a living now. Here's the truth. Travel can change you. It's one of the most accelerated forms of personal development out there, if you allow it to be. It has been for me. Or it can be a performance. It can be just an expensive hobby. It's also been those things for me. The difference, the choice, is ours. The whole travel making you a better person thing, it does not happen automatically. It takes effort and intention. If you want travel to change you, put yourself in the path of experiences, big or small, that you can't get at home. Avoid conventional tourism geared towards Westerners and giant skyscraper hotels and resorts on the outskirts of town. Find real people and interact with them. And probably the hardest of all, leave yourself margin to see, hear, feel, and think, instead of rushing from site to dinner to the next thing on your list. If you want travel to change you, you're gonna have to try a little. Wonder is a discipline. When I first started traveling internationally, everything was noteworthy. Every little nuance, even in everyday life, the different items in the grocery store, the different customs around dining or tipping or public transport, they all felt like mini adventures full of novelty and fun. What I never would have expected is that feeling of awe could start to wear off. And I don't just mean the newness fading in a place that I had been a bunch of times. I mean the little spark of joy that comes even in a completely brand new place, observing a completely brand new custom. It's just gotten harder for me to be surprised. It's like you can build a tolerance. You get used to it. And I don't like that because awe is a really important part of the human experience. Science has proven that it's good for us. It keeps us young. So what do we do? Well, there's a quote I love. The real voyage of discovery isn't seeking new landscapes, it's having new eyes. What I've learned is new eyes are a choice. This awe, this wonder, it's a muscle that you can train. So here are ways that I've been learning to train this. 1, do your homework. As crazy as it sounds, I have a far better time and get far more of these sparks of joy when I do my research before a trip. And I don't just mean planning the logistics. I mean spending a little time reading about a place or watching videos or throwing on a podcast. Context can be fuel for awe. Next, when you arrive, front load your learning. I'm a big believer in taking an orientation walking tour or doing a guided tour or hitting a city museum on day 1 or 2 and not your last day. We recently spent 2 weeks in Bologna, and I really regret going to the city museum on one of our last days. I learned so many things in that museum that reframed so much about the town that I had been walking around for 2 weeks, and it gave me a much greater appreciation. And I think appreciation, gratitude, is a big part of awe. Lastly, and this is my favorite, travel with a first timer. I've gotten to show several friends and family members Europe for the very first time, and it does something to you. For example, my sister joined us in Prague for her first trip overseas, and it was just so cool watching her fall in love with the city. The moment she stepped off the escalator out of the subway, she wanted her picture taken on a corner that wasn't even picture worthy, but to her, it was pure magic. At one point, that was me. At one point, that was all of us. Getting to see someone else point out those quirks and idiosyncrasies can bring new energy. You may not have new eyes anymore, but you can definitely borrow someone else's. Now, if you're that friend that other people are asking to travel with, the friend that everyone asks before booking their trip, you might have the instincts of a travel advisor and you're just not getting paid for it, which is why I am very happy to have partnered with today's video sponsor, Fora. Fora is a modern travel agency built for people who genuinely love planning travel and helping the people around them travel well. Their platform lets you turn that into a real business as a travel advisor. When you become a Fora advisor, you get access to professional booking technology, real industry training, and a global community of experienced advisors who share what's working. You're not figuring this out alone. And you get access to over 7,000 preferred travel partners, hotels, cruise lines, boutique properties, and through those relationships, you can offer your clients real VIP perks like room upgrades, credits, late checkout, the kind of stuff that regular travelers may not get access to. Every hotel, cruise, or activity you book earns you a commission. So those first trips that you'd be helping plan anyway, you might as well get paid for it. Click the link in our description below to learn more and become a Fora advisor. Your best travel stories will be when things go wrong. Social media makes travel look perfect, but the truth is, behind every beautiful photo or video, there are countless mishaps, snafus, and travel blunders. And the truth is, almost all of my best travel stories revolve around when things didn't go according to plan. Think about your favorite trip you've ever taken. I would bet money something went wrong, and I'd bet that's one of the parts you talk about most. It's just how stories work. We love conflict. One of our core values as a family is roll with the punches, and that came verbatim from stuff going wrong on the road. G.K. Chesterton said, "An adventure is only an inconvenience rightly considered." So if you're ever in a travel snafu, and I have countless ones, missing trains, losing a bag, fighting with your rental car company, try to remind yourself, eventually, this is going to be a funny story. These are the times that my wife and I laugh about and talk about the most, which leads me to kind of a sub point about sharing these mishaps with someone else. Shared struggle, shared trial, in my experience, is one of the best ways to bond with another person. I read this book early in our marriage, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, and one thing they mention stuck with me. They talk about building a love map, a shared language, if you will, and the couples who keep filling in that map over time are the ones who go the distance. We realized early on travel was a shared love of ours, almost a shared purpose, if you will, and it turns out it's been a very powerful way to add stories and even our own private language to our map. And these snafus, these mishaps, the things we've experienced and worked through together have built a much richer map and a much richer relationship than if everything had just gone perfectly all the time. Now, obviously, this can work for any type of relationship, not just a romantic one. But I will say, if you've never fought with your spouse or significant other, take a trip, my friend. Travel is constant decision-making. Where to eat, what to do, how to get there. It's very easy to butt heads. But shared trials are one of the best ways I know to strengthen any relationship. Hey, if you've gotten value out of this video, please hit that like button. And if you like videos like this, be sure to subscribe because there is way more where this came from. Truth number 4 was said perfectly by a guy named Chuck Thompson. He said, "No place is ever as bad as they tell you it's going to be." A lot of people skip destinations they're genuinely interested in because they've been led to believe those places are inherently dangerous. I'll never forget, our first ever video editor on this channel lived in the Philippines, and he told me, "Nick, I have always dreamed of visiting the United States, but I have seen the headlines about your country, and I am probably never gonna come because I am terrified of how dangerous it is. All the while, I'm thinking about the fact that when I was in the Philippines, and much of Southeast Asia for that matter, my mom back home was worried sick about me. She didn't know any better. Somewhere along the way, a whole lot of us got convinced that the world, really anywhere other than where we're at, is just chaos and crime and threat. And I want to be careful how I say this because some places are rougher than others. And by the way, totally true here in the USA as well. But my point is, the world is so much more than what the news and our algorithms would have us believe. What we don't get shown is the majority of people in any given city are just living quiet, ordinary, decent lives. And that a lot of us are all basically the same. We just get the worst 15 seconds that happened this year on repeat. One of the most refreshing things lately has been watching all this footage of people from other countries visiting the US for the World Cup, genuinely surprised that we aren't all just animals ready to rip each other apart. And then they get here and they're stunned. Not only are our portions huge, not only do we have ranch dressing, but a lot of the people here are nice. Strangers help them. Turns out we can be different and the same all at the same time. And the point is, that's what kills the fear. Contact. Get out of the bubble. Put a face where the headline used to be. Some of my favorite travel memories revolve around people in places that the news told me to be afraid of. I will never forget our tuk-tuk driver in Cambodia, this guy named Song. He showed us around Angkor Wat for a full day, brought us cold water and fresh fruit every time. He was a genuinely awesome guy, and I recall singing like NSYNC or Britney Spears or something in the back of his tuk-tuk. That's the antidote, not another safety video, a real person, because the world is not waiting out there to hurt you. Be smart, keep your situational awareness, don't be naive, but come in seeking to understand, and I promise you're gonna have an amazing time. Which brings me to the last one, and I think it's the one that I would most want my younger self to hear. There will never be a perfect time. You will never find the perfect time to go. It doesn't exist. There's always a reason to wait. A better time next year, when work slows down, when we've saved a little bit more, when the kids are older. I've met so many people who never took their honeymoon because they were just too busy. The world is not gonna slow down for you to go. And by the way, if you go, it's gonna keep spinning when you're gone. Earlier in my career, I was worried that I could not leave because I was too essential. Guess what? People figure it out. Life just keeps happening, right? There is never a moment where everything back home is calm and quiet and handled. The moment is not coming. And if you're waiting for it, you're just gonna wait forever. When my wife and I first launched this channel, we had been planning for over a year to travel full time for 6 straight months. We saved like every dollar we could. We ultimately moved all of our stuff into a storage unit, quit our jobs, and when we left, when we were finally on that trip, living this dream that we had been meticulously planning forever, we'd only been gone for about a week. We were on a ferry in Croatia when we got a phone call. Someone that we love was very, very sick, and we ended up making the decision to cut part of our itinerary out, fly home, and see them. We had thought all the conditions were perfect, but it just doesn't work that way. There's a quote that stuck with me back when we were first dreaming that whole thing up. On your journey through life, make sure your autobiography has at least one extraordinary chapter. That's really all I'm trying to say. It's never gonna feel convenient or completely safe or like it's the right time. Writing an extraordinary chapter doesn't mean wait till the conditions are perfect. That's not what you're gonna remember. You're gonna remember the chapter you wrote. So if there's a trip that you keep putting off, I hope that you stop waiting for a perfect moment that's never gonna come. Go write the chapter. And if you're itching for ideas on where you should go, check out this video next to get inspired by some of our favorite trips we've ever taken. Thanks so much for watching. Happy travels.